Alright, what's good, guys? It's OGM. This is the project file for my song, Keep Going. Let's dive into it and I'll show you how I made it. So, first things first, here's the loop. This was sent to me by Keeney.wave on Instagram. So, shout out Keeney. I met him at the end of 2024, pretty much about a year ago. Met him at Illmind's Past the Aux event in Miami, and we've just been locked in. He's been sending me hella loops, and I cooked up this one. And let's check it out. This is the original loop. It's actually playing with some effects on it. Actually, so this is the original loop. No effects. I don't know if I speed it up, but regardless, this is the loop. Yeah, I like that. But I ended up editing the sound a bit. I put a little bit of sound design. Got the saturator, love filter, halftime, which is how it gets that trippy, like low sound. Like on the intro here, it's mainly due to halftime here. Before I dive into the vocals, as far as the beat goes, it's really a simple beat. It's just a loop, and then so yeah, the beat's pretty simple. It's got the loop, and so this is how the loop sounds after I edited it and put a bunch of sound effects on it. Sounds like a little more gritty, a little more like dark heavy. I like it. And then as far as the drums go, simple pattern. Let's see if I can pull up. Yeah, here it is. This is the pattern. It's literally just straight hats, kick, really basic kick pattern, clap throughout. You know, standard hip hop drum pattern. But when you put it all together, it sounds like this. Pretty dope, right? I love this beat. Has that bounce to it. And then on the master channel, I got all this stuff going on. Got Fruity Limiter as the last thing. I don't know why I have this reverb on here. I didn't even automate it. Whatever. And then we got this stereo bus compressor. Kind of glue the whole mix together. Got Fruity Soft Clipper. It's actually not even pushing that hard. Usually I have this all the way down and this all the way up. But I'm not gonna mess with it because the song is done. So I'm just gonna leave it how it is. So yeah, the verse. How I do my verses, how I do my beats for the verses is generally every 4 bars you want to switch up the melody or the drum pattern a little bit, and it helps keep it interesting. I actually learned that from a couple years ago from the producer Briggs, the main. So shout out Briggs. He's got some good tutorials as far as like how to make beats, really. I mean, how to make beats for artists, really. So that's one of the things. You want to keep the beat interesting every 4 bars, so switch it up a little bit. But yeah, and it just loops back, and that's pretty much how I do it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my thought process about how I made the verse beat, or the beat for the verse. So essentially, Keeney, he sent me these loops, and as you can see, they're all like separated a little bit here. These are like the different elements of the main loop, and basically what I do is I just break those down and assort them in a way that sounds cool. See, so we have this one, but it's also layered with this. Sounds dope. Again, shout out Keeney, man. He has a really good sound selection. It makes it really easy to make the sound dope, especially when I put all my sound effects on it. So yeah, so you have both of these melodies going, And yeah, that's pretty much it. As you can see, we got the drums here, drums here, drums here. So there's like 3 different patterns on drums. So every 4 bars the drums switching up a little bit. You don't want to do like a crazy switch up, but just enough to like keep the people interested, you know. Like people are gonna be turned up when they listen to this, you know. They're probably gonna be faded when they listen to this, right? So keep it enjoyable to listen to. That's like something that S.Y.N.D.E.L talked about on one of his live streams. Like when you're making a song, like you want the mix to be inviting and comforting to the listener. So with that being said, making a beat for artists, you want to have enough room for the artists to do their thing. So, you know, don't go crazy on the beat. I know as producers we like to sometimes go crazy with the beat, but just do enough. Trust, you don't want to do too much. And that's pretty much how that beat came together. And as far as the lyrics go, I did a live stream on Pump Fun, and I actually did this song live on Pump Fun. Not the hook. I actually wrote the hook probably weeks ago before I recorded the verse. But as far as the verse, I actually recorded this verse. Not Brianna S.Y.N.D.E.L's verse. I actually recorded this verse live on the Pump Fun live stream. You can't talk right now. It's very early in the morning. And basically, I would essentially scat the flow for 16 bars and then go back through it and listen to the flow and then put words over that flow. And obviously, the words have to make sense with the topic. And it actually works out really well. I may or may not cut a clip of that into this video, but I think that full video is on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. But anyhow, if you want to see the process of how I actually wrote the verse, I would suggest checking out that video. But essentially what I did was I basically just punched in for every bar here. Like after I did one bar that I was satisfied with, I listened to it again and then kind of just punched in from there. So
I gotta keep this going, I can't let this shit go and stop. We just hop on this ship and go rock. Me and Sin gon' pull up and pop. We just make a new slice and we drop. We stay on the grind cause we just locked. And the phone girl, so just speed. I be riding the waves on this beat.
This is my vocal stack here. Got the Antares songs in E minor. Then from Antares go straight into the vocal strip. A little bit of gain boost with this Red 2 EQ. Make it sound saucy with the vintage Valhalla. The replica. This is like my favorite delay plugin, especially for vocals. Throw a little bit of saturation on that hoe. Transient master. Cut the attack back a little bit. Kind of works as a de-esser, de-ploser. Another EQ. Cut more low end. Cut the high end a little bit at 20 hertz and 20 kilohertz. And then we got the limiter. Make sure it doesn't go over 6 dB. And yeah, that's pretty much how I do my vocals. I like to set the threshold a little bit lower than the ceiling, and it kind of helps keep the vocals in like a pocket, so to speak. I'm not a classically trained engineer. I just go by ear and like the meter. I don't like my vocals to be higher than -6. It makes the mix. If I feel like in my case, if the mix goes above 6 dB for the vocals, it just gets really harsh. I feel like I don't like songs personally when the fucking vocal is like pushed in your face, like hella fucking loud. It's like the engineer was like, fuck it, we gotta use fucking every dang near fucking thing to make this shit loud as fuck. And it's like, okay, it works, but at some point, you know, it's like goes back to that one thing that S.Y.N.D.E.L said, like, you want the mix to be inviting to the listener. Like, I don't want to be smashing the fucking listener with the vocal over the top of the head. Even though the vocal is very important, you want to make sure they hear it. Like, you don't want to be smashing them over the top of the head with it. It's a very it's a very like taste oriented thing. Like, you know, it's something that you'll acquire as you just make more songs and listen to more music. Like, guarantee you some of your favorite songs, they're not beating you over the head with the vocal, right? It sounds nice, so that's what you want to do for your songs. And that's pretty much it for how I made Keep Going. I mean, I can't really think of anything. I kind of showed you guys the beat, how I did the song structure, and yeah. So when I first made this beat, it was obviously just a hook, and then I sent it to S.Y.N.D.E.L, and then he sent me his verse back, which is this right here. And his engineer already put all the effects on it and everything like that. But I went ahead and put a little bit more. Wait a minute.
How many people can tell me what rebirth means? That ain't enough. Too many people give up but don't reach their dreams. Damn, it get rough. Baby don't want no bombs. Baby just want some funds. What in this holiday?
I forget if in the actual song if I rendered his without any effects, because I think I sent him a version and it had all these effects on it, and he was like, "Oh, that's cool," but I was like, "Look, you just take them off." I was like, "Okay," because like I said, his engineer already did his thing, so I think it was.
How many people can tell me what rebirth means? That ain't enough. Too many people give up but don't reach their dreams. Damn, it get rough. Baby don't want no bombs.
Yeah, how these effects worked on top of his vocals, it was kind of making it muddy. So yeah, I think basically what happened was I think I cut everything off except the limit, just to keep it in the same pocket as my vocals, like volume wise. So his wasn't peak above -6 either. And that's another thing when you're winging a song. Like, if the artist is telling you some feedback for their vocals, you definitely want to make sure you apply that as best as you can, especially if you're... I know most producers aren't mixing or engineering their own songs, but if you are, you know, you want to make sure that the artist that you having on your song is getting it sound as best as possible, right? You're essentially hosting them on your song, so you want to make them, in some ways, look better than you are on your own song, right? Like, as a good producer, you're going to be... coaching and like nurturing people. I don't know coaching, but you're basically nurturing an environment or a space where that artist can flourish. So, you know, that goes hand in hand with making sure they sound right on the song. So, you know, that could be, it could take multiple revisions. You could be sending the homie back like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 revisions, and you know, you don't want to get salty about it. Like, you know, you got to put in the work and make sure it sounds right. And that's one of the things that's tough when you're not in the studio with the artist, is like things like that. Like when you're trying to get the mix down, and then when they're not in the studio with you, you're gonna have to send the file back and forth, and that's gonna take some time. So yeah. With that being said, this song actually took about 8 months to craft, but you know, I'm not complaining. But that's just something to think about when you're making a song, is that if you are kind of a person to not follow through on things, making a song can be challenging, because the amount of time that goes by between, you know, starting a song and ending a song, it could be months. Sometimes it could be just days, sometimes it could be hours. But on those songs where it takes like months to finish it, just, you know, keep it on the back burner, so to speak, but don't forget about it and don't lose the passion about it. I know that when I came back to the song, I was actually still really hyped to do this song, so that's why it came out really, really nicely. So just those little things, like those little vibe things that you bring as a producer, is very heavily vibe oriented, so you want to be in a good frame of mind and everything when you're doing these songs. And that's kind of it. I mean, I try to tell you guys what my thought process is when I'm making this beat, making this song, and maybe I'll come out with a part 2 if anything else arises that I want to talk about for this song. But shout out Keeney for the melody loop, shout out S.Y.N.D.E.L for the verse, man. Like I said, this is a nationwide collaboration, and the full song is actually out everywhere on all outlets, so you can go play that. And it's actually going to be available on Even if you want to download the song and have your own library of music. Thanks for watching, guys. It's OG and Prod.
I'm running in balance, nothing. I'm using my tools to make something. I wake up and follow my passion, it doesn't get on mine, I love it. I gotta fulfill my purpose, I can't do no swappings and summons. At the end, you love it, and won't hurt my feelings or nothing. I had to keep this shit going, I had to keep this shit rolling. I know I gotta keep going, I'm knowing I gotta keep going. I had to keep this shit going, I had to keep this shit rolling. I know I gotta keep going, I'm knowing I gotta keep going. How many people can tell me what rebirth means? That ain't enough. Too many people give up and don't reach their dreams. Damn, it get rough. Baby don't want no bombs. Baby just want some funds. What in a solid income? Baby, that sounds like fun. How many people are too many people when you